All right, we are rolling here in our very first Dockcast. We've been wanting to do this for quite a while. We've talked about everybody listens to podcasts. We've thought that we're intelligent enough that we need to share our views about the world, right?
I think the more opinions you get on things, the better well-rounded of a person you are.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll shoot right to number one on the first week or not, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Number one topic, or like
number one video on YouTube of all time.
Okay.
We're just shooting for the stars, right?
I think we at least get family views.
I don't know if they'll watch the whole thing. They'll probably click on it.
If we mention them every now and again, you know, make them feel like they're important.
So obviously,
so you're Chad.
I'm Chad.
I'm Matt. Yeah, we're both fathers and husbands, and you're employed now.
I'm now employed again. That's depressing, but yes.
We both have leg places that
we both recently got leg places a couple of years ago.
We can do dockcasts. And we could take turns maybe on each dock, have a dockcast, like even through the winter. We're in Idaho right now.
Of course, anytime we talk about doing something, it always has to go to the most extreme, you know. Well, let's do it on the dock. In the wintertime would be really good. And then if we're doing that, we might as well swim at the same time.
We could do that.
So,
but you just, there we go.
See, you just start talking like this, and then just great ideas spring up.
Yep, you mentioned podcasts, and I thought, why not do a dockcast? We each have a dock. I was even thinking maybe we should cast a fishing pole, but that's just going too far.
Yeah.
So we're in Idaho.
We're at Spirit Lake, Idaho.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll do one in Washington.
On Loon Lake, probably, if that were the case.
Yeah.
I know a guy with a dock there.
Yep.
So.
Yep. This is definitely a calmer, more green environment. Not as busy. Loon Lake is busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not at dark. It might get a little calmer. But
so we'll get sunsets here. Mine maybe we'll have to do
sunrise
in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get sunrise.
So anyways,
how old are you?
How old am I? It's 2023, so I'm around 42.
Around 42?
Around 42.
I just think maybe viewers might like, how old are these guys?
I'm
a grandpa.
Matt's an older gentleman, so we have a diversity of age groups, opinions on that. How old are you?
45. Just became a grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa Matt.
And we still have kids left in the house.
Yeah.
Some kids out of the house.
Really doing the multi-generational thing right now.
Yep.
Anyways, so we all listen to podcasts. They're usually with maybe more interesting people. There's probably not more interesting people than us, but I want to do this not just for the podcast, but I just enjoy, I don't care if we go on an 8-hour road trip. I like long conversations with people, with you, and I would think that doing this regularly, even if we get 0 views, is still an enjoyable practice for me. And I would like to do this with other people as well, even if they're not, world famous. I think anybody, not everybody, but some people may enjoy just doing this, just sitting down, talking with somebody, and then also having a video of it. I just think it would be a cool thing to have. I think about, I'm a philosopher. I'm a professional, not professional, an aspiring professional philosopher. I do have to work.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah. Self-proclaimed. Well, who else is going to proclaim it, right?
Not me.
Anyways, I'm excited to do this. Obviously, whenever we've done a few adventures together, and we just enjoy spending the time, but we also, like, the truck ride there is also one of the most enjoyable parts of the experience, because we get to talk for 5 hours straight or whatever it is.
And what most people don't know yet is we believe quite differently on most subjects.
Yes. Well, the most important subject, right?
What?
Spirituality or life after death or all the existential questions of the universe.
I was thinking about everything. I'm a non-vaxxer. You're a vaxxer.
I'm ultra fit. You're not.
We've both had our seasons.
There was a time that I could probably
you're an Iron Man.
Outlast you at least.
You're an Iron Man. I am only a half an Iron Man. Yeah.
So
we're very different on a lot of subjects, and so we get caught in all these debates, and they all stay on a very even keel level. Like I don't think we've ever had a fight, a spat. Maybe this could be
our first fight.
Yeah. But honestly, we can both share, our opinions on things and debate life and world and parenting and marriage and you name it, finances, and like get each other's perspective and disagree and carry on with our days. And that's been the coolest thing of our conversations is like we are totally different.
You say we're totally different, and well, we do disagree on some things, but I think we agree on the majority of the best way to live a good life.
What's that?
What's important in life, and maybe not the reason that we do that, but I think the way our paths go to those different things overlap a lot.
What would be that best thing?
Well,
a family? Is that we talk a lot about family.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying the best thing, but a lot of things that we both value or think are important are family, trying to instill good values. We even if we don't agree on where the values come from, we agree on a lot of the values as far as raising a family or interacting with people or just aspiring to live an enjoyable, fruitful life, I guess.
Yeah, I remember thinking of a text that I sent you recently. It was we both aspire to do better, to be better, right? And me going biblical, right? There's a verse that says that, iron sharpens iron, so I think we have that relationship where we sharpen one another, and we, can talk about anything and verbal process. I think a lot of subjects that we can come away thinking about further and then grow from and become better men and better fathers and better husbands. And so
it's also, we agree, everybody probably agrees on we're old men, so we obviously think that times are changing really quickly and values are changing.
A 70-year-old guy would listen to this and be like, you guys are kids.
Right.
Yeah, but our kids would look at it and go, you guys are old.
That's true. But every old man always makes that statement or argument that, the youth is going to hell and the world's about to fall apart. I would really make our case for these times. Things are changing so quickly that people and kids especially don't have the time or the framework to even think about what these changes mean or what
I don't think they have an idea of the change.
Well, to them, it's just reality, the way things have been. And
we grew up with no cell phones, no screens, and we played outside and did things. We drank out of water hoses. I'm sure people have talked about that. Where
I still drink out of water hoses.
I can tell.
So cell phones is a huge change. Obviously, everybody will agree that cell phones have changed life immensely. I would even say again, maybe
at what age do you think people would agree to that? Because
our kids have never really lived without that, so they have no idea. Right. But then even maybe my kids, I don't know if they're a little bit too young. I would say in the last 5 years, my kids are 16 and 14.
Okay.
16. No, I'm sorry. They're 17 and 15.
Mine are 16 and 14.
Yours are 16 and 14.
The ones left in the house.
Yes. Just one other. So cell phones are huge. I think there's also another huge change just in the last 5 years with how good, how addicting, and how abundant the video content is. 5 years ago, there wasn't TikTok and Instagram and endless. I mean, yes, YouTube content was always endless, but in the last 5 years, you can watch, now you can sit and watch 20 years of videos on one single subject, or you can scroll 10-second Instagram videos for days on end. And I think that's another dramatic change, not just introducing communication with cell phones and things, but the addictiveness and the all-encompassing aspect of the technology. Now, it's really, it's like before, the way I think of it is sometimes we would watch YouTube or something if we weren't doing something else. Now, in my house, or me personally, I feel like we are watching our screens all of the time unless we have to do something else. And it's just a complete night and day switch, in my opinion.
And you can watch YouTube at 2 times the speed. You've gotten so good at it.
Well, I got to catch up.
So I feel like you're getting twice as much out of life.
I'm twice as smart as you, basically.
I'm up to like 1.5, depends on the speaker. But yeah, part of that is, I think, healthy, like education. Like we can educate ourselves on YouTube videos, and you don't have to read anymore. You can watch a video and listen and figure out how to do something. But it's you can get stuck in a rut of just endless entertainment, of sitting there accomplishing nothing, feeling fulfilled for some odd reason by watching somebody else do what you would like to do. And I think the beginning of it stemmed from like, all right, I'm learning something, or I'm going to aspire to do this, or oh, this is cool, check it out. But now it's like you said, it literally has become, I don't even need to do it anymore. I'm completely entertained doing it, and you're numb to even knowing that you're not doing anything.
Yeah, and I think of like when we were kids, if we went out camping with our family for the weekend or something and came back to school and told our friends all about it, like if I'm telling you about my camping trip, you might have an interest or be a little bit envious or interested in what I did, and like, oh, I'd really like to go do that with you. But now if I come and tell you that I rode my motorcycle in this really cool spot this weekend when I was camping with my family, you kind of say like, so what? I just saw a guy do that 10 times better than you ever did it. So
what you're saying is you can almost experience something just by watching the video.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go do it.
Right.
You can experience somebody's vacation. You can see something, some destination that would take hours and days to get to. You can just look it up and see it and almost feel like you're present because somebody's doing a video just like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So what makes this different? We're keeping somebody's time, them watching this.
So
what's the point of?
If we weren't doing this, I would be sitting there watching YouTube probably.
Okay, so we're just jumping on the bandwagon.
Well, the reason I'm doing this isn't necessarily to give other people content. I truly enjoy doing this. I'm glad I'm doing this.
This conversation?
Yes.
So what
even if we didn't have the video and the microphone.
What makes you want to record it though?
A reflex or a number of things. Today's habits or whatever, you want to record everything, you want to be the next YouTube star. I personally, some of my interests, it's probably a bygone era, but I've always had
a big word for me. What's bygone?
Of days past.
I'm a drywaller, so our lingo is really, we just talk in numbers.
I've always had some interest in, I like organizing information, recording things. I'm always nostalgic. I always want to record let's measure your height on your birthday. Let's save all your old birthday cards from your grandma. I don't know. I've always liked saving information and organizing information.
Okay.
So not only just because I want to be a YouTube star, but I also enjoy recording things for that reason as well.
Yeah, and I've benefited from some of your recordings on some of our fun adventures. It's recorded, and then you get to have that as a family memory for years to come.
Yeah, and when we first started doing that, we were both probably, it was newer. We've been doing that for 5-6 years probably, and at first we're probably like, oh, okay, let's do this. But now it's kind of like that's part of the fun,
right,
a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe, if you're still alive in 30 years, maybe you'll look back at them and show your grandkids or something if they have any interest. But
yeah,
that's always my thinking is like, oh, my grandkids will love to watch this. But if they're anything like some other kids, then no, they won't have the interest in the past that I do. Or
so we've seen phases in life. Do you think YouTube, or do you think whatever this big crazy cell phone screen addiction that's going on, do you think that you think it's gonna get to a point where it goes away and something else steps in? I mean, there's those camera deals you can stick on, and
the VR
and be interactive or whatever. I just wonder, we've seen video games and television, and obviously sports are huge, but right now you can just sit and watch screen. It seems like that's a lot of people do it, and I'm just wondering, is that going to pass, and is there going to be something else that all of a sudden everybody's doing, or is it going to
there will always be progress and change, and the companies making these things will always have incentive to innovate and make more profit and do things. So there will, who knows what it'll look like in 10 years or 50 years, but
we talked about how advanced sports have gotten in the last 5-10 years. I wonder if some of that is stemmed from just the viewing capability of so not only is everything captured now, but now everything can get put on a screen and can get seen by the world, which makes you want to push the limits to be seen, to be noticed. And I wonder if that actually is part of the advancement of, I don't even really want to do this, but it's going to get me views, or I'm going to go ahead and risk it. But it makes me think wow, I wonder if that has fueled some of the advances in people's craziness in, extreme sports, right? Triple backflip on a dirt bike, or snowmobiles are flipping, whatever it be. That if, sometimes some of it you do for your own, but now that the whole world gets to see, you're gonna push it a little bit.
Yeah,
I've never really thought of that until I just said it. That I thought, okay, now I see why things are getting pushed further, because you become more, I don't want to say famous, but
you're always on a world stage. Whereas before, when there's no video around, you're just doing things with your friends or doing things in the moment. But now there's always that possibility that you do something spectacular and get famous for it or something.
I'm 45. I used to do backflips on snow skis all the time when I was in high school. I haven't done one for years. My kids have never seen me do one. There's no footage of me doing them because we didn't have cameras or phones back then. I want to. That's funny.
We'll get that on video this winter, hopefully.
I don't know if it's worth the risk anymore.
It'll be on video. So
if I die?
Win or lose, it's really win-win. Everybody loves a good.
One thing they'll catch on is that you don't really care about my physical being. You like to see me get injured.
You literally tried to kill me one time in the winter.
When?
When I almost froze to death on the mountain.
Oh, no, that trip was your idea, and you decided that I'm not going to fast, but I'm going to hike. I don't know how many miles in 20-degree weather, snow, in a t-shirt. There's video shows that you're in a t-shirt, freezing to death, sweating. I saved you. I saved your life. I didn't.
In that same video, you can see me almost collapsing in the snow, and you rolling on the ground laughing, giggling.
That's true. But I watched a video the other day of me trying to backflip off my dock into the water, and failed miserably, and you are nothing but laughing.
You're an entertaining guy. Oh.
Yeah. Did you want to even share, like, we're neighbors at home, right? Like, we live right next door to each other, and I lived there first, and it's nothing special. But the point being that I watched the house go up for sale, and notoriously, either I get along with redheads, like they become my best friends, or we really don't get along at all. And so I look over the fence and I see a redhead.
Good looking one.
Well, all I see is red hair. That's it. I couldn't even see nothing else but red hair. And I told my wife, I said, crap, a redhead just moved in next door to us. And sure enough, we became best friends, and here we are. What, how many years?
10 years.
10? That's it?
2010 we moved it, so 13 years.
13 years we've been friends. And our wives are friends. Our kids are friends. We've done a ton of adventures together. Our kids now, actually, we will now, this coming school year, have 4 kids at the high school. A freshman, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior.
Hopefully one graduates next summer.
Yeah, we'll have graduations in the next 4 years. Hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. You good? Break time?
Break time.
I just noticed your Kirkland sandals. Company that makes food and clothes and sandals, and that's the one thing that's super different about you and I is I'm probably more name brand. Like I pay.
This is name brand.
Kirkland.
Everybody knows Kirkland.
Everyone
signature.
knows it. Everyone knows Western Family too.
Exactly.
Right, but you'd call it? I guess it's a name brand, but it's the cheapest, right?
Generic, yes.
Generic, yeah. Yeah, like I'll pay for quality.
I don't know that I ever have. I've aspired to at some points, but
what's the deal with that? Why?
Well, the truth is I'm a cheapskate. I consider myself a value shopper.
So you shop at like secondhand stores and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you really? I didn't know that.
Not very often. I don't shop very often, I guess.
I'm a shopper.
Yes, you are.
If I don't have it, I kind of would want it.
So, you have a lot of stuff.
Well, you borrow a lot of stuff of mine, so it's beneficial for you.
It's better stuff than I have.
Except that pair of skis that you complained about carrying up the mountain.
Well, he gives me the 50-pound skis to carry up.
Hey, it was something.
Yeah.
You could have walked.
Well, my cousin walked, and he ran down or garbage bag down.
Actually, I gave him a ride on my skis for a bit.
Like 5 feet, or?
No, there's video. I think 500 feet. I don't know.
I don't think it's 500 feet.
Those videos might. What do you think's gonna be more popular? Your adventure videos or your podcast or your Dockcast videos? I think the word Dockcast is like.
Dockcast. Dockcast.
Yeah.
Everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Tell your friends. Subscribe.
Where did pod come from, anyways?
Podcast?
Yeah. Where did the word podcast?
I don't know. People casting from their pods.
Yeah. I mean, a dock is way better. Look at this. Yeah.
This is a peaceful place.
It is. Yeah. You went to college, right?
I did.
You got a degree.
I did.
In
philosophy. mind you. I told you I'm a
thought it was
philosopher.
economics.
It's both. I'm a double major.
So you know about the mind and you know about what's money, right? Is that? See, I don't even know what. Right? Is that money?
I don't either. To a degree, yeah. It's not an accounting degree, but more of a like forecasting or bigger picture.
So what
type things?
More 2023. What's if you could forecast?
Money wise?
Yeah. Because right now we're at everything is an all-time high, right?
Probably.
I mean, I guess you could always say that, couldn't you?
Pretty much always. I mean, there's probably like little 3-month sections or 6-month sections.
Well, there was
where
a
the
couple
stock
of years
market
where there
falls,
was a crash where houses went down.
Yeah. And it depends on when you say we are at an all-time high, you're talking about
everything.
Middle-class America.
Everything.
Like
any wage across the country, right?
Across the country or across the world?
I don't know many other world economics.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm doing great. I'm probably not at my all-time high. Weight-wise, I am at my all-time high.
I'm there too.
Yeah.
I think that just the older you get, you gain 10 pounds in the winter and you lose 5 in the summer. So that, accrued interest,
I've had
right?
40 winters and summers.
Well, no, it doesn't start till you're 30, 40. Yeah. Where'd you go to college?
University of Washington.
How much was that education?
Rather cheap, actually.
Really?
Probably didn't seem so at the time, but looking back, I didn't have any debt basically when I finished, so
nice.
That was nice.
You don't use your degree for any employment ever?
No, not for any employment
but
whatsoever.
What I've noticed is you use it for your own personal life, right?
Yes, I believe I've gotten my tuition's worth well out of my experience at college.
Because of the economics part?
No, more the philosophy.
Really?
I enjoy philosophy. Taught me how to think about things and how to structure arguments, view other perspectives better and identify good arguments, which leads you towards truth, I believe. And so I've enjoyed that.
The thinking
personally.
part is something, not to beat a dead horse, but going back to the cell phones, I think that the cell phone generation, how long has cell phones been out? How long is entertainment being entertainment from a cell phone?
2005 was the first iPhone, I believe.
So when did
2005.
YouTube videos start becoming a sensation?
But
like
I would
5
say,
or 10 years ago?
Starting in maybe 2010. That's the thing. It's just it's progressing so fast, and like I said, it almost feels like a new era every couple of years, because it's almost like, if you think back to before TikTok and Instagram, that was a whole different experience than it is today. There was no Twitter, there was no TikTok, Instagram, Reels, whatever. I don't watch any of those, honestly.
I don't. I do YouTube and maybe Facebook videos or whatever. I'm intrigued by people doing crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be getting hurt or some extreme sport. I'm not much into the drama of people's lives. That turns me off a little bit. But I like to see stuff that I'm like, holy crap, that's crazy.
So
like even a car accident or a motorcycle stunts, people are amazing. The stuff they can do, they blow my mind. But my point, I didn't even get to my point. The whole thought pattern, you said, philosophy taught you how to think. And I think you and I had this discussion before that there's no time, we don't have time to think anymore. There's no sitting, doing nothing, thinking about a topic because you have nothing else to do. There's always a cell phone sitting in your lap, or like, I don't even think we care about weights anymore at a line or your food or wherever you're at, because you have a computer in your hand that can entertain you during that gap, right? So anyways, we've talked about that thought pattern of kids, right? I mean, we learned how to think. We learned how to really dig deep, and you and I both, obviously that's why we're doing this, because we sit and think about things, we discuss things, we analyze things, and we're deep thinkers.
I think the studies have shown that it's good to be bored, good to have nothing to do. It helps a mind develop
and become creative, right? And I would argue one fact and say there's a lot of creative people out there right now because new things are coming all about. But then on another hand, there's a lack of creative because there's no downtime to think of something to do, think of something, you can sit and do nothing and be entertained.
So all our kids, and like, you can watch endless videos of amazing people, and one thing that gets into the mindset of the kids is they think that that's the way the world is, that the world is a constant highlight reel of those 10,000 people that they're watching on YouTube, but they don't take into account that's 10,000 people of a billion people, and those are the best moments of their lives. And so when you try to ask them to mow the lawn or to think about what they want to do after high school or things, they either their perspective is so skewed because they either think that they don't care they don't care if they work at McDonald's for 50 years as long as they can just come home and watch TV, or they are they just think that they're, I'll finish high school and then I'll just become a millionaire on YouTube that lights Lamborghinis on fire and laughs at it and gets, 1 million views or whatever. So it causes two different things. It changes the reality that they live in, and they don't have as much perspective about the real world, and that life isn't always a highlight reel every moment of every day.
Yeah. It's a crazy thing I've noticed with cell phones is toilet time. Just being real. I used to think people were crazy that would sit on the toilet for, I don't know, over 5 minutes, over 3 minutes. And it's like, now you can...
Yeah, you say that, but I have to yell at my boys. What are you doing up there? Are you writing a book?
Well, yeah, your legs go numb. Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
The things that, like you say, the things on YouTube amaze you. That I have the same. Everybody has the same experience. They always watch what they like to watch. The things that amaze me is I like watching the science news, what's going on. I like the computer news, the artificial intelligence, the space exploration. Like, that's the stuff that makes me go wow and amazed that people are accomplishing those things. It's like we were talking about a while ago. Like, I feel like all this technology can be used for good or bad. A lot of 99% of it is ruining our lives, I think, but all in our own minds, we like to think that we're using it as a tool. Because like, I think of it like I'm watching these top researchers and scientists in the world give groundbreaking lectures on new discoveries that I wouldn't have access to before the internet and before YouTube. So it really is a plus in that regard.
Yeah.
But if you think about that, I've spent hundreds of hours sitting there on my couch watching it, maybe not the plus in my life that I think it is.
If it's educating you, it's a good tool, right?
That's not that's what we've always been grown up to think. We've always thought that more information and more selection, more choice was good. That's a world that we used to live in. Now, I think there's value in filtering stuff. That, like, you have so much coming at you all the time that you don't need more. You need to learn how to filter and stop.
So what I hear you saying is almost be present. Like, I know that you want to be there for every one of your kids' basketball games and your wife's awards for her, amazing teaching abilities she has. And so that when those things get in the way of those things that are most important, then it becomes not a tool, right? But I think most things are created to be a tool, and then they can easily, I think Facebook, I think about it, and I mean, I'm brand new to Facebook, and it's 2023, and it's been out for how long?
I don't think anybody's on Facebook anymore.
Oh, see, I get on something when it's not popular anymore.
I scroll through my wife's, and all I see is ads. I don't see anybody post. I think they post on Instagram or something.
I just do it for Marketplace.
Yeah, we all do, right?
I just said I like to shop.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I think a lot of things are created at first, like, this is a great tool, right? This will help me to connect with my family. I remember when it came out, and I thought, oh, that is cool. You can share pictures with people online. Like, you can have this deal. And then it seemed like it became this boasting platform of, this is my life, and it's amazing, and look at me. And I was never into that. I mean, I have a profile picture, and I think that's the only thing I've ever done. But it can become this piece of information that, like you say, YouTube. Me, I'm like, okay, well, how do I fix my car and this, deal? I remember you posted a video on your Explorer. How do I, and there's a ton of people with that same problem, and you got it figured out. Okay, cool. And it's an education piece, but I mean, you can watch that. I can go on YouTube and think, okay, I'm going to watch this video, how to fix this, and an hour later,
you're an expert.
No, no.
You're a lot better off than you were.
I might have watched that video for 5 minutes. An hour later, who knows what I'm watching? I'm watching dudes do backflips. I'm watching people, eat their face on the pavement in some, bicycle accident or whatever it may be. Just before you know it, you're sidetracked into this endless pit of numbing your life and, wasting it away and not interacting and doing the things that you intended to even, look into learning how to do.
So for the last however long, we've been ragging on technology and what we're doing. So if that's all so horrible,
not all, right?
Not all, but a vast majority of it. There's a lot of bad things.
How it's consuming our nation or our world?
World,
right? It's are we just being a numbed nation, numbed world of? We want to be entertained, right?
Well, so if it is bad, if this is happening to us, what should we be working towards? I know you have religion and spirituality are important in your personal life, right? I watched a video the other day about the Amish. What's the other community that lives like the Amish somewhat?
The Mennonites?
Yes, the Amish and the Mennonites, I think. And do you have any... You've spoken in the past about being frustrated with the world that we're living in, and maybe that it would be good for your family to spend time in a third world country or a vastly different lifestyle, that it would really add value to your family's life. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we grow when we're not comfortable. I think when we put ourselves in a situation that's difficult, or not even us putting ourselves in a situation, but I think people are prone to comfort, and I mean, you think about working out, right? Physical activity, going to a gym, lifting weights. You're putting your muscles into discomfort. You're straining them. They're breaking down and they're growing back stronger. And I think that application is the same exact spiritually and physically, and just life itself. With you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and you grow out of it. You learn things out of it. When you suffer, you become strong. Typically, I shouldn't say all people, but some people will collapse, right? But some people will endure, gain strength, and they will learn a lot of lessons through those difficulties. And I love that piece of the physical side. I mean, you do as well. You got me into it, signed me up for Spartan races, and there's a sprint and there's a super and there's a beast, and you do the sprint first, which it's 3 to 5 miles. The super is 8 to 10, and this beast is 13 plus, and you do the little one, and then okay, I'll try the big one, and then or the medium one, then the big one, and then once you accomplish the big one, the little one seems like nothing. But when you signed up for just the little one, it seemed like a big thing, right? You were like, oh crap, I don't know if I can do this 3 to 5 mile run with all these obstacles. And then once you get to the big one, you can sign up for a little one, even if you're out of shape, right? I mean, you and I right now could go sign up for a sprint and easily endure, and we wouldn't even be scared. Come on. You might fall off some monkey bars, but
that is a benefit of challenging yourself and growing.
So perspective. I want to talk about perspective.
That's why I did one of the biggest things in my life was completing that Ironman, and I knew going into that and after that to me, that was like the ultimate goal. I felt like if I can do this, then I can do anything. And like I'm totally out of shape, but it does give me that frame of mind. Like you said, once you progress and you do the big ones, then the little ones seem so minor.
Yeah, there's numerous Bible verses that talk about consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because it produces endurance, and suffering produces perseverance, and all these things that talk about difficulties create strength, right? And like I said, it's the same with physical. You lift weights. It's a difficult motion. It's creating strength. You're breaking down and building up. And I think life is that way, right? You can, perspective is huge too. I think, simple thought of me, maybe say I lose a finger and I'm like, man, my finger hurts so bad, this sucks. Or, I don't have a pinky, I can't do this. And you look at a dude that's got no leg. Can you complain about your pinky then?
Right.
Right? And I think most people have a desire for easy comfort, right? You've seen the commercials with that easy button, that red button that, oh, if I could just push that, right? But if we realize that we don't grow through that easy, we grow through that struggle and discomfort. It almost makes that struggle and discomfort inviting. And I think you've realized that with all you're not afraid to go climb any mountain, and you're going to struggle, right? It's going to be hard. You're going to be panting. You're going to be bent over. I'm going to be laughing. But it's something about it where you accomplished it, and the next one seems easy. Or the view at the top. I don't know if do you take a moment at the top to enjoy the view, or do you just accomplish it, check it off the list, back down we go?
There's a slight disappointment. I think I've told you before, a lot of the challenges that I pick out for us to do, I pick those because I think there's a reasonable chance that I'll fail and die maybe along the way. And so when I get there, I'm like, now I have to find something harder, right?
Yeah.
So,
do you want to talk about your PCT experience at all?
Not on this one particularly.
Okay.
That's how I ended up with a year off of work and not hiking the PCT, and that was a great experience in itself.
Okay, we can do a whole podcast on that.
Oh yeah.
Or, excuse me,
Dockcast.
Gosh.
Yeah. You kind of ran us clear off the rails there. I was talking to you about
trailer.
the Amish and the Mennonites there.
Okay. What did you want to know about that?
Well, one thing I learned watching that video, is at least the people they were talking to, is I think the guys had beards if they were married, and the guys that were not married did not have beards.
Really?
And before they got married and before they got accepted, became an actual member of the church, then their rules were not as strict. Like, they were basically free to do whatever they want, and a lot of them go out into the world and do whatever they want to do outside of the community, and then they decide they have to make a conscious decision, and a lot of them do. They might go off to college, or they might go out, travel the country and do drugs or whatever it may be. And then, but a lot of times he talked to a few people, and they said, yeah, I went out there into the world and there wasn't anything that I wanted. What I want is here, living life in this way, close to the land, close to the family, close to God. And they had the option to experience the worldly pleasures, and when they've been raised in the way that they have, even experiencing all the pleasures of the day, they found that there was nothing that they wanted there. That they wanted to go back to what was more meaningful to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have that feeling, somewhere, however deep it may be in us. And some of us might talk about, changing our lifestyle or moving to a third world country or doing this.
That's what you were talking about.
But so I think we all have that, that sense to some degree. And then there's obviously a difference between those that have that sense and those that actually do it. I know a friend of yours, acquaintance of mine, still does not have a cell phone to this day.
Right. Lives
in today's world in the city, is a teacher at the high school, lives in 2023 without a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice he's made.
Yeah.
And most of us could not even imagine going a day or a week without our cell phone, let alone living life without that.
Yeah.
But if you ask him, he probably doesn't feel like he's missing out on anything at all.
Yeah. And you and I can see the trap that falls into, I've often thought about, just making a mild shift in life can seem like nothing, but you get months down the road, years down the road, and you think about how off course you are from where you wanted to be. Just a mild shift, you get a cell phone to make phone calls. Before you know it, you're texting. I was a guy that was like, no, I'm not going to text. I'm going to make phone calls, or I'm going to talk. And before you know it, I'm texting. And then, here we are, 2023, and now I got Facebook, I said I wouldn't have Facebook. I never did the Snapchat, Chapsnap thing, or I don't have the Instagram or any of that stuff. But, back to your comment about me, sharing ideas of moving to some country where we have nothing, and just back to the basics of life. I've often said that I would desire to live in 500 years ago, where the means of life was survival and, eating and providing and staying warm and protecting, and just because I can see how all these comforts of life can come in and distract you from things that are more important. I'm not familiar with the Amish or the Mennonites, their ways. I did hear a deal recently about a study going on with the vaccination and how they haven't been finding many of that community having certain issues in life. What's it called? Have you heard about it?
I don't know. You've brought up your anti-vax conspiracies to me from a number of different angles. I'm not sure about the current one, and that's a whole nother episode about government and control
vaccination
by government
and all that.
Vaccinations and conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole episode.
Okay, all right. We'll hit that one later. How many? I'm sure you got a lot of minutes here. I don't know how.
We're shooting for 5 hours.
Oh, all right. You're going. I didn't know if this is the second podcast or are you getting a whole week's worth here?
No, this is one episode. Okay. See, I don't watch the highlights of guys getting run over by cars. I enjoy watching 4-hour podcasts.
Give the viewers something that they can come away with and feel like they've been educated.
There's not necessarily.
How about this? Hold on. What's your passion?
What's my passion? At the moment, it is helping my boys and experiencing my boys' last years of high school, and I really enjoy the sports aspect of that, and I get personal enjoyment out of watching them compete and enjoy that. So probably in my life in this moment, that's my passion for the moment. I'm kind of, you mentioned briefly, I was going to do the Pacific Crest Trail last year.
Yeah, you don't have to get into that yet.
I didn't do that, but I'm kind of in a coasting area. I don't have, like, Mount Everest isn't on the list or anything. I'm just doing the family time and
because I've always called you a
life.
Bucket list kind of guy. You get your mindset on something, you research it, which is a lot of your YouTube watching, right?
I think that's how you accomplish stuff. If you don't put something on the calendar and you don't strive for something outrageous, then you're not gonna achieve something outrageous.
Yeah, that would be called. Yeah, if you don't have a goal or a mark that you're aiming for, you're gonna miss the mark, right? Because you're not even shooting for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your passion at the moment?
Definitely, you and I are super similar with that. We got kids. Our last batch is going to be in high school here, and so the next 4 years, just enjoying time. Time has become the most precious piece of family, right? You want to enjoy as much of the kids as you can, and I don't desire to make more money. I desire to have more time with my family and make memories. I think that's something that you and I have that is actually very, very similar, where we both desire to spend time with our family, make memories with our family, and instill into them, the best that we can give them. And so, definitely teaching my kids as much as I can in the last few years that they're in the house, to where I feel like when they go out of the house that they're well prepared. And then my piece on that goes very spiritual, where I feel like we've been given this instruction manual, the Bible, God's word to us to show us how to live, and I want my kids to realize that book is designed for them to read and study, and gives answers to anything that they may have questions to, and that'll be their guide. So my goal, my desire is for them to know that, and I think that'll carry them through life with a goal. We talked about mark, right? So hitting the mark, like that they'll have a focal point to hit.
It looks like God's about turning the lights out on us here. So one of my goals in the moment is I would like to do this podcast
Dockcast.
Excuse me, Dockcast. I would be willing to do podcasts with you if the doc is unavailable, or with other people. I would actually like to do this with you more often, and other people. Anybody that would want to do this with me, I would enjoy it, whether we record it or not. I would like to have longer, meaningful conversations with people because it entertains me, honestly.
Oh, okay. Not the growing piece of it. See, I like it because I feel like I come away with something. Like I feel like when we get done with the conversation, I'm thinking about something deeper. You're challenging maybe my thoughts, which causes me to either consider the way that you think about something, or consider the way I think about something, and then I'll examine it and decide, am I wrong? Is he wrong? Am I right? Is he right? Or are we both in line on this? I feel like it's a takeaway of an education. I feel like that's what our conversations are. A lot of like, it gets me deep thinking, and I sometimes don't even know the way I think about something until I verbally process it. So there's things that come out of my mouth at times that I think I've never even thought that before. You know what I mean?
I think, I can't believe you just said that. Whenever we have these conversations, we always run out of time. Like we never get done.
We've sat for hours and hours.
And
well, we never get
finished?
life figured out, but we at least come away with something.
I think I usually have it figured out. It's just that I haven't been able to convey it to you in that time.
I haven't accepted the correct answer is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I have not conformed to your ways.
And some of the hours that we spend together, I'm out of breath for most of those hours, and you're usually laughing. So the conversations aren't as deep during those times.
Do you feel like you talk more than I do?
When?
Anytime.
I feel like I talk more than you during these conversations.
Gotcha.
What do you feel?
I don't know. I feel like you give your views, I give my views.
I know that I've put you to sleep talking.
Well, we know that.
I know that you've fallen asleep talking to your son. You talking.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm not much of a night owl. Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for doing this. We should make it a regular occurrence.
All right.
And if anybody else out of my 1 million subscribers would like to do this with me, I would do that with you. Whether like I said, we don't even have to record it. I would just like to have the conversation. It's enjoyable for me.
Yep.
So, well, I guess... am I supposed to throw you in the lake for a sign-off, or what do we got going?
There should be some kind of a sign-off, but I don't know. How deep is it off the end of this dock?
It's like 30 feet.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
There should be some sign-off. We'll figure it out. Maybe next time.
Well, I guess then this cannot be the last episode, I guess, if
maybe a
out.
fishing pole. Maybe you throw a lure out, and that's the last cast.
That's pretty lame.
Yeah. Well, thanks for accepting the Dockcast part of my idea. I know it was your idea to do podcast, but I think that the Dockcast idea is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it until next time. Yep. It's way past your bedtime.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it.
All right.